This next story is important because it shows you what the far right and elitist Republicans really think of regular people. Representative Jason Lewis called welfare recipients parasites. CNN reported Friday that GOP Representative Jason Lewis referred to welfare recipients as parasites and scoundrels on his old radio show. CNN's KFile obtained audio recordings from the Jason Lewis show in 2012, in which Lewis speculated over why President Barack Obama was leading in the polls the September before the election. According to the audio file, Lewis said, "When you and I see the welfare state in all of its wonderful manifestations, and yet he's still leading in Ohio, he's still leading in Florida. How is this possible? Is it possible because the Democratic dream come true is this? The parasites outnumber the producers? Then when the parasites outnumber the producers, the party of parasites will give the majority of votes." So, just so you know, this is what they think of you. And Mitt Romney, it was the same thing, the famous 47% comment. He was like, 47% of Americans will never want to, take control of their own life. 47% of Americans are happy being leeches and just mooching off the government. I mean, this is what they think of you. This is what they think of half the country. And in their mind, it's the Democratic half of the country, to be clear. And by the way, they're factually wrong in that assessment anyway, because it turns out that people in red states are way bigger net receivers of tax money, federal tax money, than people in blue states. People in blue states are actually net producers, believe it or not. So, but putting that point aside, it's his premise is wrong. The premise of like, oh, you have taken some government money at some point? Well, obviously you're a parasite and a scoundrel. And they always feel like that until it affects them directly. Now, will this idiot look at his mom taking Social Security and being on Medicare and view that as, look at you, parasite, you scoundrel? Nope. If it was him, let's say he lost his job and he couldn't find one, and then he goes to get some unemployment money. Would he say, I'm not a producer, I'm a parasite, I'm a scoundrel? No. So whenever it's them, it's understandable. I mean, it's just par for the course. Sometimes good people fall on hard times and they need just a little bit of help. And we have a civilized society, so that help is available to one extent or another. We make sure we give health care to older people. We make sure we have Social Security payments. We make sure we take care of bare necessities because, I mean, what are we? Fucking heartless, cold, unsympathetic assholes? Is that what we are as a country? No. So we make sure we take care of it. See, when it's them, when it's their friends, when it's their family, it's all, what do you mean? This is totally normal and totally acceptable. When it's the other, parasites, scoundrels, moochers, as if the overwhelming majority of people aren't trying to make a living and get by and do okay and do right by them and their families. They think that half the country sits around all day and they want to make $100,000 for sitting on their couch and watching reruns of SpongeBob, and that's what really happens in reality. And so they go and they take from the producers. And these guys are nothing but parasites and leeches and scoundrels. So, in other words, they think if you're in poverty, number one, you're immoral and unethical, but it's also a choice you're making. Like, I have decided I would like to be poor and not get by the rest of my life. That's what they think. I'm just letting you know what they think. Now, obviously, you look at that and you go, that's ridiculous. I mean, we have people who literally work full-time jobs and don't make a living wage. So you're going to judge those people if they need government assistance when they work full-time and don't make enough money to survive? His response would be yes. Yeah. I blame you. It's an immoral choice. You're immoral. That's a choice you're making. Unbelievable. So just so you know, this is what they think of you. And that's why these people are actually a scourge. That's what they are. Is because as they are in power and as they repeatedly push for laws that benefit the rich, that benefit billionaires, multinational corporations, lobbyists, the military-industrial complex, big pharma, as they serve their donors, they rationalize it in their mind that it's okay that we basically live in an oligarchy and we don't have a democracy anymore because the people who are doing who are not well off financially are immoral anyway, and they made a choice anyway, and so I don't need to be responsible for them. They're just the takers. So as I rig the system against regular people, that's okay. That's okay. Because they're bad people anyway. That's how they think. That's what they think of you. It's a fundamentally illogical ideology too, because they think we already live in a meritocracy, which is comical. I mean, the richest, 6 people in the world have more wealth than the bottom 50% of people? 6 people have more than 3.5 billion people. And these idiots look around and they go, yeah, they should work harder. What? As if everything's on the up and up and it's fair already. As if it's like a legit competition with equal opportunity from the beginning. It's laughable. It's just utterly laughable. But that's what they think. And so they're dangerous and they're dumb. That's what that is. That's a dumb way of looking at the world. It's never even bothering to dig deeper than at the surface level. You know, it's like looking at a homeless person and going, that person has no story, that person has no context, that person has no life and background experience. There's no logical explanation and progression to how they're here. You just look at that person and you go, immoral, made a choice. That's it. That's as far as it goes. It's like celebrating the fact that you don't analyze stuff and you don't think, which is quite amazing.